Alright, this is a take two. I'm on my way home from Virginia from the 2A rally. For all practical purposes, I think it was successful. There was no violence. Everybody was polite. Everything was good. No kind of crazy happened. With some sketchy looking kids, 20-somethings. They were kind of walking around and looking sketchy. And then the police kind of like approached them, and next thing I know, they were kind of heading towards the door. They didn't stick around. Saw some kids with Antifa kind of logos and stuff, and they said hi. And maybe they were just punk kids that showed up because they're down for the cause. I don't know, but first impression was they're all dressed in black with hoodies, and they kind of had the look, but I don't know. If I went there as Antifa and saw 10,000 people with weapons, it probably wouldn't be the place I would pull something. You're not going to throw a bottle of pee on somebody and get away with it without getting beat down or shot or stabbed or something. So, maybe they were there, as they stated, that they were there to support the cause. Maybe they got there and they were like, maybe we should support the cause and not die. The only incident that I witnessed was we're walking out, and seemed like we walked up on the intersection and something was happening. So I looked, I held up my phone and I asked somebody what was going on. It was a black woman, and she said, well, there was something about white supremacy, and then they're throwing them out. I was like, really? And she's like, yeah, I took a picture of their sign. So I panned my phone to her phone to see what it said, and it said, down with white supremacy or no white supremacy. And I kind of read it as like, down with white supremacy. I was like, that's kind of a good thing. And then she looked at it, she's like, oh yeah, I wonder what it was all about. So, but whatever it was, it dissipated, within a minute. Whatever it was over and done pretty quick. There was a lot of militias there. And I'm sure somebody like Delaware Patriot, you can go on his, when he gets done, putting it together, he'll have a hell of a lot better footage than I did. It was real crowded. A lot of the time I just, 10, 20 second, little clips of something. I'm going to actually try to put it together so it's coherent instead of posting 10 tiny little stupid clips that, and what else can I say about it? It's really tough to gauge how many people were there, because about a third of the front yard on the State House was fenced off for unarmed people to assemble, and they figured that held about 10,000. And maybe it did, maybe it didn't, but it was probably pretty close. The street in front of it was a regular, like a highway boulevard type ordeal. That probably had an equal number. There was a side street that wasn't very big, but it went down the hill pretty far. Maybe that number again, bring it up to 30. And then there was the main center street. I think it's called Main Street. And you put all the streets together, and I'd say very, very conservatively, there was 50,000. Some people were saying 100,000. somebody else that was posted a YouTube video. I just kind of like, grabbing things that say, Virginia 2A. Just any kind of live stream, just trying to see what was going on, wherever I wasn't. But they were talking to one of the Capitol Police, and the Capitol Police were estimating 110 to 120,000. So I'm going to say safely that between 50 and 120,000 people were there. Probably 2/3 of them were armed. The police were exceptionally polite, and sometimes they seemed a little on edge. We were getting ready to walk out, and in one of the main intersections, a bunch of police with bicycles and things all showed up, and they were trying to clear the streets. This was about 1 o'clock, and they're trying to clear the streets because the rally permit only lasted till 12, so it was time to start clearing the streets and sending people home. And they cleared out everybody complied, nobody had a problem, everybody realized it's time to go home. But then the police took over the intersection, kind of blocked it up, and I don't know if they heard someone on the radio or whatever, but they were, all of a sudden they looked kind of edgy, and then and that's when the police on the rooftop kind of showed up. And it's like, well, now what the hell? The whole thing's over. It was peaceful. Now what's this show of force all about? And some guy walked up to one of the bike cops, and as the guy's approaching and saying, "Hey, officer," whatever, he takes his hand off the bicycle and he covers his sidearm with it. And I thought that was kind of crappy. So I'm using that as an example. That's the only example I saw of that I really saw where I think a cop was overreacting. But having said that, I don't know what the guy was saying. He could have been some Second Amendment, First Amendment auditor, somebody trying to be an idiot. But anyway, that's the only thing that I saw that I thought the police were acting inappropriately. The cops on the rooftops keeping an eye on things, yeah, that probably wasn't a bad idea. Especially with all the reports of everything that was going to go wrong. There was at least one helicopter in the air, kind of hovering over the whole thing the entire time. And early on, I saw a drone. It was a real live, like military style drone. It was high enough up where I couldn't see. I'm not going to tell you it was a whatever, but it was the regular kind of fixed wing looking drone. That's all I can really say. It was a good time. There was a report that all the Democrats had left town, including the governor, somebody from Virginia that knew who was who. They actually got up there in the entrance to the State House with a bunch of other guys, and he said the Republicans were all shaking hands and thanking people for coming out, and the Democrats were all getting booed and hissed at, and basically held their head in shame as they kind of walked into the building. I heard a report that the governor had flown out of town yesterday, and nobody had seen him there. Nobody said Northam was here anyplace. So I can only assume that the guy that followed him to the airport and watched him fly away was telling the truth. There was some people there that could have been Black Lives Matter. They seemed very friendly, and they were on our side. There was a lot of real diverse groups, and everybody really was on the same side. Place, by the time I left, somebody was handing out garbage bags. We picked up some garbage on our way out. A lot of other people were picking up garbage. I'm guessing the place is going to be 99% clean, probably cleaner than when we got there. So yeah, all in all, I think it was a good day. I don't think it's going to change anything that makes it through the state Senate, I don't think it's going to. I think it will get signed by Northam, by the governor. I don't know if they're going to push too many more things through. Whatever they do push through, I think that instead of kicking down doors and shooting dogs and holding everybody at gunpoint and searching houses in the middle of the night, I think it'll probably go to court with the counties that declared themselves Second Amendment, and the whole thing will just kind of die in litigation and disappear after the showing today. I really don't think that any law that's passed will be enforced. But that's my takeaway on it. Y'all have a good night.